So I'm going to go back to that little kerfuffle in Florida that I was talking about in the opening. But I want to just continue a little bit what I was talking about yesterday. I was talking about the fact that when you watch the news now, the story is not the story is the agenda. But that really goes on in this Florida story. Racism isn't racism. Racism is socialism. Racism is they're selling socialism. They know you don't want socialism, so they're going to shout racism. The racism is not racism. Racism is the agenda. And morality is not morality for the left. It's the agenda. This is kind of a minor story, but still kind of interesting. Comedian Louis C.K., who I think is a really, really funny comedian, he made an appearance on Sunday night at the Comedy Cellar in New York. Right. And this is after he was accused of exposing himself and masturbating in front of women and, doing all this kind of disgusting stuff. And the Me Too thing happened and he was thrown out of the world. We ejected him from the planet. He's been orbiting out in space, but he came back and did a 15-minute set. And in the New York Times, this woman said, she was attacking them for doing this. She said, I have to believe there's a path to redemption for people who have done wrong, but 9 months of self-imposed exile in financial comfort is not a point along that path. It is far too soon for any of the men who have faced the marginal consequences born of the Me Too movement to think about redemption. People love a comeback narrative, and all too often they yearn for this narrative at the expense of victims who are only beginning to reconcile with their suffering. Now, the owner of the comedy club, a guy named Noam Dworman, he issued a statement. He said, we're living in the dark ages of people having things they believe that they know that they can't say out loud, and feeling that you have to come to a conversation with already the correct point of view. You're not allowed to discuss it, be wrong, be informed by someone else's opinion. Conversation is meaningless. Conversation in this day and age is just for two people to agree to talk about what they agree about. So he's saying he wanted, Louis C.K.'s voice in there, to include him in the conversation. Now, all this is fine. What Louis C.K. did, if he did it, he did admit to it. He said he had done this stuff. So what Louis C.K. did was disgusting, inappropriate, whatever you want to say, immoral. But what I want to ask is, what are the rules? What are the rules? If Louis C.K. exposes himself, it's not like we're living in a world of chastity where everybody agrees that the only proper sexual relationship is between a married man and his wife. That would be one thing. If we all agreed to that, then I could see why we would be censorious about people who didn't follow those rules. But it's not. Right now, out in the desert, right, they have Burning Man. Everybody's taking drugs and screwing everybody. And, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Louis C.K. exposes himself. That's bad. But if a gay pride parade comes down the street and the guy isn't wearing any pants, that's wonderful. If a feminist parade comes down the street and they expose their breasts because that's their protest, that's terrific. That's excellent. But if Louis C.K. does it behind the scenes, that's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying, what are the rules? I think about Kevin Spacey all the time. Kevin Spacey accused of harassing young men all over in all of his sets and all this stuff, and he was bounced off House of Cards. Every single person on House of Cards, especially the people in authority, every single person knew that he was doing that. Every single person. It was only when the Me Too accusations came to light that it suddenly became an issue. Why is Kevin Spacey the only guy who has to quit? Why is Kevin Spacey the only guy who has to quit? Now they're talking about this guy, I think his first name is Andrew Lack, who let Matt Lauer do what he was doing. Why is Matt Lauer the only person? All the people in power knew about Harvey Weinstein. Everybody knew. Why is it only Harvey Weinstein who goes down? So I'm just asking, what are the rules? Because the people who argue for chastity, the people who say the only right sex is between a man and a woman who are married, they make sense. That makes sense. I know what that means. My own point of view is a little bit more loosey-goosey. I think the world is a lot of variety. I think chastity is a good thing, but I kind of define it a little bit more loosely. I think, we should treat each other excellently. We should make sure that our bodies are expressions of the true feelings of our hearts and not just being using people, especially using women, because I think that's the truth of it, using women for our own personal pleasure as objects. But I know that people have a lot of variety, and I just don't want to worry about what other people are doing. It's not part of my life. But even in this Pope scandal, it is unbelievable the way the New York Times is covering this priest scandal and the fact that it has now involved the Pope. Now, I want to just make sure you understand that the New York Times, when conservative Pope Benedict was the Pope, they went after him if he walked by a house where somebody had been abused. It was like, the Pope, that scandal is coming closer to the Pope. At one point, Ratzinger's brother, the Pope's brother, who was directing a choir that was connecting to a boarding school where two ex-students had come forward with abuse claims. That somehow embroiled the Pope. This is the New York Times. They said, oh, well, that embroils it. It's already coming close to the Pope. The scandal is coming close to the Pope because his brother directed a choir associated with a school where 2 former students had said they were abused. That involved the Pope. But now with this letter from the Archbishop Vigano, I think it's pronounced Vigano, who says Pope Francis knew that there was an abusive priest and he covered up for it. That suddenly is a problem because Pope Francis is pro-gay, or basically, has hinted that he's pro-gay. So suddenly we're getting from the New York Times these hit jobs on Archbishop Vigano, known for his short temper and ambition. They say Vigano has clashed with superiors who stunted his ascent in the church and has played a key role in some of the most stunning Vatican scandals of recent times. While Archbishop Vigano, who was once criticized by church traditionalists as overly pragmatic, has aligned himself with a small but influential group of church traditionalists who have spent years seeking to stop Francis. Many of his critics think his personal grudges are central to his motivation. So it doesn't matter. Rape children doesn't matter. Seduced young men doesn't matter. Disavow, set your religious vows at naught doesn't matter. Louis C.K. is the problem. Again, not giving any quarter to Louis C.K., but what are the rules? The rules are not the rules. The moral rules are not the rules. They are the agenda. These people have absolutely no moral authority. The Pope, I have to say this, the Pope tweeted this morning, "We Christians are not selling a product. We are communicating a lifestyle." And I thought to myself, yeah, that's what some of us are worried about. I don't think it's a Christian lifestyle that you're communicating. It's like, we're communicating a lifestyle, dress up really fun, and then you get the boys, what the hell? Then, by the way, he changed that tweet that I forget, we're modeling life or something like that. He changed it. But the minute I saw that, I thought, write your own jokes, folks. I'm not going anywhere near that. We're not selling a product. So, so here again, we see with Donald Trump, yesterday I played this hilarious clip that suddenly Stormy Daniels is being rehabilitated and she's just a fun working mom. Can we play just a little bit of that clip again? This is from a Vogue thing. It's basically the leftist media has gotten together and decided they're going to make her a hero. Remember the New York Times, she was a feminist hero, and then Vogue had this, and Amy Chozick said this about Stormy Daniels.
Your biggest takeaway after sitting down with her?
I think just how fun she is. I think people have a perception about porn stars and what their kind of sex-fueled lives are like. I mean, she's a working mom. She's got her horses in Texas, a gun. She's got a gun.
She's a fun working mom. So just to be sure about this, just so we get if you're a porn star, so you're making degrading videos that we've heard for years, for decades from the feminists are degrading toward women, you're making those pictures and then you sleep with another woman's husband and then you extort money from him and then you agree to take the money and be silent and then you're not silent. You are a feminist hero and you're a fun working mom. You're a fun working mom. This is not letting Trump off the hook, but what are the rules? What did he do? He cheated on his wife and then he paid her off. He did essentially the other side of what she did. Why is he to blame? What's wrong with him? You're going to say it's a campaign finance violation? First of all, no, it's not, probably. But so what? So what? He did the same thing. So if she's a hero, he's a hero. What are the rules? Doesn't matter, right? Because morality is not morality. Morality is the agenda.